We have the opportunity to make a habit of empathy.
President Obama has described the kind of judge he intends to appoint. As a senator, he said the judges decide cases based on their, quote, deepest values, core concerns, broader perspectives, and the depth and breadth of their empathy, unquote. As a presidential candidate, he pledged to appoint judges who indeed have empathy for certain groups. And as president, he has said that a judge's personal empathy is an essential ingredient in judicial decisions. This standard is seriously out of sync with mainstream America. By more than 3 to 1, Americans believe that judges should decide cases based on the law as written, rather than on their own sense of fairness or justice. The American people reject President Obama's standard for the kind of judge we need on the federal bench. At the Judiciary Committee hearing, Judge Sotomayor said that her judicial philosophy is simply, quote, fidelity to the law, unquote. While some of my Democratic committee colleagues said that they wanted to avoid slogans, code words, and euphemistic phrases, they apparently accepted this one at face value. Unfortunately, it begs rather than answers the important question. Is it a judge's role to do justice or to apply the law? President Obama says that a judge's personal empathy is an essential ingredient for doing justice. At the hearing on Judge Sotomayor's nomination, one of my Democratic colleagues invoked what he called, quote, America's common law inheritance, unquote, to describe federal judges with broad discretion to decide cases based on their personal notions of justice or fairness. That may be the judiciary some of my colleagues would prefer, but it is not the judiciary America's founders gave us. Federal judges are not common law judges. They may not decide cases based on subjective feelings they find inside themselves, but only on objective law that they find outside themselves. Thankfully, the American people overwhelmingly say today that America's founders said, that judges must follow the law rather than their personal empathy to decide cases. The question is, which kind of a Supreme Court justice Sonia Sotomayor will be? In one speech that she gave several times over nearly a decade while she was on the bench, she spoke directly about how judges should approach deciding cases. In this speech, she said that factors such as race and gender affect how judges decide cases, and as she put it, quote, the facts I choose to see, unquote. She embraced the notion that there is no objectivity or neutrality in judging, and that impartiality is merely an aspiration, which judges probably cannot achieve and perhaps should not even attempt. She said the judges must decide when their personal sympathies and prejudices are appropriate to deciding cases. In these speeches, Judge Sotomayor described how such things as race, gender, life experience, personal sympathies, or prejudices affect judges and their decisions. That is certainly possible. But I waited for her to say that judges have an obligation to eliminate the influence of these factors. I wanted for her to say that because these things undermine a judge's impartiality, judges must be vigilant to prevent their influence. That would have given me more solace about what Judge Sotomayor's phrase, fidelity to the law, really means. But she never said it. Instead, she endorsed the notion that judges may look either inside themselves to their empathy or outside the foreign law for ideas and notions to guide their decisions.